Before the break, Lisa gave us a breakdown of ChatGPT, and I think it's fair to say AI like this makes many of us feel a little unsettled, and it's popping up in our everyday lives more and more. You might have seen that fabricated image of Pope Francis wearing a white Balenciaga puffer. It's kind of funny, but it fooled tons of people. Using AI image generators means a wave of fake photos that will be more convincing than ever. So where are we really headed? Joining us to help answer that question is futurist Sinead Bovell. So good to have you, Sinead.
Hello, thanks for having me.
I got to start off with, what does an AI image generator do? Give us some context.
Right, so an AI image generator just takes a text prompt that you give it and generates an image from scratch based on that text prompt. So whether that is an image of a chair in the shape of an avocado or Pope Francis in a fashionable Balenciaga-inspired jacket.
Now, what are some of the risks of having this technology?
So there are no shortage of risks. One being, it really disrupts our information ecosystems. Knowing that an image may no longer be synonymous with truth or fact, that can sow a lot of distrust and uncertainty. And in a world where our democracy really just depends on a shared set of truths and a shared story, in a world where we all have different versions of reality, or we're not sure which version of reality to subscribe to, that can really sow some chaos. And then on the other side of things, there's the disruption to the workforce. So what we might have seen as an image of the Pope in a fashionable jacket, but you can also see the future of fashion modeling and fashion design within that same image.
So Sinead, you know a thing or two about that because you are in fact a model. So there might be a day when models are AI generated.
And that day has already started to happen. We saw Levi's last week announce that they'll be deploying AI models out later this year. A few AI modeling agencies have popped up. So to say it, simply, there is no industry or job that is immune to transformation by artificial intelligence.
Now, there's something that you brought up that was thought was very interesting on your Instagram page, and it was just about companies that can use AI-generated images to look like they have a diverse workforce. Is this actually happening, or is this something that we're looking towards the future?
Yes, so I call it the diversity illusion. And unfortunately, there have already been instances of it happening. So one of the biggest digital supermodels, Shudu Graham, and she's not AI, she's a computer-generated image, but the person who controls her is white and male. And in the Levi's announcement, they announced AI models in the guise of to improve diversity. But then it begs the question, well, who's getting automated? And whose identity is still generating profit, but who's actually getting paid? And if we're not seeing diverse gains made on the back end in terms of those programming rooms, perhaps at Levi's, we have this strange new area of exploitation where people's identities are being profited off of, but the money isn't going to the communities those identities represent.
So I want to talk a little bit more about that idea of identity, because recently a TikToker was able to use an AI tool to make a voice change so that they sounded like Kanye West. So what does this mean for musical artists in the future, do you think?
Yeah, so there are many ways to look at this. Undoubtedly, one area is artificial intelligence is going to turbocharge creativity in music. So we now have systems that an artist can use to help create melodies, to help them write lyrics. But then again, it does raise a lot of questions pertaining to intellectual property. If I can refine an AI system on 7 or 8 albums from Ariana Grande and create music that sounds like her, but it isn't her, what are the grounds for copyright there? Can you trademark your style or your essence, not just your words and your melodies? And right now you can't. So it is going to raise a lot of challenging questions there. I will say music is no stranger to technological disruption. From the record player to the internet, the industry has continuously evolved. So AI is no different. But AI does specifically raise questions of copyright.
So we've heard a lot of big names in tech call out this proliferation of AI already. I want to know, where do you think we need to go in the future in terms of regulating? Like, where are we going to go in order to stay ahead of a technology that's already light years ahead of us?
Right. So I think the first step that we need to take is establishing independent bodies, so not people that work at these tech companies, that can keep an eye on foresight, that are conducting research on what's in the pipeline. Because the truth of the matter is, the systems we're interacting with today that have taken everyone for surprise, they've been in the pipeline for years, and research papers have been in the pipeline for years. So in terms of government regulation, we could start with developing maybe a strategic foresight office that's run by the government or independent from tech companies to really make sure we're keeping up. And it doesn't feel like every day that we open social media, there's an entirely new AI system that nobody saw coming.
Very good. That's probably like the beginning, right? The tip of the iceberg. But I love your insights. We'd love to have you back. And Sinead, thank you. Keep doing the work you do, because we need this information so that we can actually get through what we're looking at when we're looking at things digitally. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.